Marcus Rivera walked slowly up the stairs to his apartment. His legs felt heavy after working 8 hours at the grocery store. He was only 17 years old, but he felt much older. Every step hurt. His back hurt. His feet hurt. But the worst pain was in his heart. When he reached the 3rd floor, he saw something on his door. It was a white paper. Marcus's hands started shaking as he got closer. He knew what it was before he even read it. The word eviction was printed in big black letters at the top. He pulled the paper off the door. They had 30 days to leave. 30 days to find a new home. 30 days to come up with money they did not have. Marcus folded the paper and put it in his pocket. He did not want his mother to see it right away. She had enough to worry about. Inside the small apartment, everything was quiet. The walls were old and had cracks. The furniture was worn out. But it was home. It was all they had. Marcus looked around at the tiny living room, the kitchen with the broken cabinet and the 2 small bedrooms. This place held all his memories of his father. His father had died 2 years ago. A heart attack. One day he was there, laughing and making jokes. The next day he was gone. Just like that. Marcus still could not believe it sometimes. He would wake up and forget for a moment. Then reality would hit him hard. After his father died, Marcus had to grow up fast. He was only 15 then. His mother fell apart. She cried every day for months. Then she got sick. Really sick. The doctors said it was cancer. Marcus felt like the world was playing a cruel joke on them. First his father, now this. The medical bills started coming. At first it was just a few $100s. Then it became thousands. Then tens of thousands. Insurance covered some of it, but not enough. Never enough. Now they owed $47,000 to the hospital. $47,000 they did not have. Marcus dropped his backpack on the floor and walked to his mother's room. He knocked softly on the door. "Mom, I'm home." "Come in, honey," his mother's weak voice called out. She was lying in bed looking small under the blankets. Maria Rivera had always been a strong woman. She used to work 2 jobs. She used to dance around the kitchen while cooking. She used to have bright eyes full of life. Now she looked tired all the time. The cancer treatments had taken so much from her. "How was work?" she asked with a small smile. "It was fine," Marcus lied. Work was never fine. His boss was mean. The customers were rude. His co-workers made fun of him for being so young. But he smiled for his mother. "How are you feeling?" "Better today," she lied back. They both knew she was lying, but they pretended. It was easier that way. "Did you eat something?" Marcus asked. "A little soup." "There's some left for you in the kitchen." Marcus nodded. "I'll heat it up later." "Do you need anything?" "Your medicine?" "I took it already." "Don't worry about me. You should do your homework." "Homework?" Marcus almost laughed. He had so much homework he had not done. His grades were dropping. His teachers kept asking him what was wrong. He could not tell them. He could not tell anyone. It was too much to explain. "I will, Mom. Rest now." He closed her door gently and walked to the living room. In the corner sat an old upright piano. It was brown and scratched. Some of the keys stuck. It was out of tune. But it was his most precious thing in the world. His grandmother had given him this piano when he was 5 years old. She taught him how to play. She would sit next to him on the bench, her wrinkled hands guiding his small fingers. She smelled like flowers and cookies. She told him that music was magic, that it could heal anything. Grandmother died when Marcus was 8, but her words stayed with him. The piano stayed with him. Even when times got hard, even when they had to sell other things, Marcus refused to sell the piano. It was all he had left of her. It was his only escape. He sat down on the bench. The wood creaked under his weight. He looked at the keys, yellowed with age. Some were chipped, some were discolored. But to Marcus they were beautiful. He placed his fingers on the keys and started to play. The sound filled the small apartment. It was not perfect. The piano was old, but the music was real. Marcus played a song by Chopin. It was sad and beautiful. It matched how he felt inside. As he played, everything else disappeared. The eviction notice, the bills, the debt collectors who called every single day, his mother's sickness, his father's absence, all of it faded away. There was only the music. Tears ran down his face, but he kept playing. His fingers moved faster. The music got louder. He poured all his fear and sadness into the song. The piano absorbed it all. It always did. Outside, he could hear kids playing basketball. Their voices were loud and happy. They were laughing. They had no idea what it was like to worry about money, to worry about losing your home, to worry about your mother dying. His cousin Jake was probably out there with them. Jake was the same age as Marcus, but their lives were completely different. Jake's family had money. They had a big house. Jake had new clothes and new shoes. He played basketball every day after school. He had time to be a kid. Jake always made fun of Marcus for playing piano. "That's for girls," he would say. "Real men play sports." His friends would laugh. They called Marcus names. Piano boy, mama's boy, loser. Marcus tried not to care, but the words hurt. Everyone thought piano was useless. His guidance counselor at school told him to focus on practical skills. His neighbors said he was wasting his time. Even some of his teachers looked at him like he was stupid for caring about music. "Piano won't pay your bills," Jake had said last week, dribbling his basketball past Marcus's apartment. His friends had laughed so hard. Marcus had just walked inside and closed the door. What could he say? Jake was right. Piano would not pay the bills. But Marcus could not stop. The piano was the only thing that made him feel alive. When he played, he felt close to his grandmother. He felt close to his father, who used to love listening to him play. He felt like himself. He finished the Chopin piece and started another song. This one was his own. He had been writing it for the past 2 years. He called it Resilience in his mind, though he never told anyone about it. It was too personal, too real. The song started soft and sad like a whisper. It told the story of loss, of his father dying, of the empty chair at dinner, of his mother crying in the bathroom when she thought he could not hear. Then the music changed. It got a little stronger. It showed the fight, the struggle, getting up every day even when you wanted to give up. The melody climbed higher. There were moments of hope mixed with the sadness, like sunshine breaking through storm clouds. Then it would get dark again, showing the hard times, the bills, the sickness, the fear. But it always came back to that thread of hope, that tiny belief that somehow things might get better. Marcus played for an hour. When he finally stopped, his fingers were sore. He looked at the clock. It was already 8 at night. He had not eaten. He had not done his homework. He had not figured out how to tell his mother about the eviction notice. His phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out. Another message from a debt collector. "This is your final warning. Pay immediately or face legal action." Marcus deleted the message. It was not really a final warning. They sent final warnings every day. He stood up from the piano and went to the kitchen. The soup his mother mentioned was in a pot on the stove. It was cold now. Marcus did not bother heating it. He ate it cold, standing at the counter. It had no taste. Nothing had taste anymore. After eating, he tried to do some homework, but he could not focus. The words on the page blurred together. His mind kept going back to the eviction notice. Where would they go? How would they move his mother? She could barely walk to the bathroom. How could she handle moving? He thought about asking for help. But who could he ask? They had no family nearby. His father's family lived in another state and had stopped talking to them. His mother's family was in Mexico. They had their own problems, friends. They had lost touch with most friends. When you are poor and struggling, people disappear. They do not know what to say. They feel uncomfortable, so they just stay away. Marcus put his homework away. There was no point. He was failing most of his classes anyway. The only class he did well in was music. Mrs. Chen, his music teacher, was the only teacher who seemed to really care about him. She always asked how he was doing. She listened when he talked. She never judged him. Mrs. Chen knew he was talented. She had told him many times, "Marcus, you have a gift," she would say. "You could go to a great music school. You could have a future in music." But that was just a dream, a nice dream that would never come true. Music schools cost money. Money they did not have. He walked back to the living room and looked at the piano again. In the dim light, it looked almost magical, like it held secrets, like it knew something he did not. Marcus sat down on the couch. It was old and lumpy. Springs poked through in places. But he was so tired he did not care. He closed his eyes. Tomorrow he had school, then work, then more bills. More problems. More stress. But tonight, right now, he wanted to forget. He wanted to go back to when life was simple. When his biggest worry was finishing his homework on time. When his father was alive. When his mother was healthy. When the piano was just for fun. Not the only thing keeping him sane. A sound came from his mother's room. A cough. A bad cough that shook her whole body. Marcus jumped up and ran to her room. She was sitting up in bed, holding her chest, coughing hard. "Mom!" He rushed to her side. She held up her hand, trying to tell him she was okay. But the coughing continued. Marcus grabbed the water glass from her nightstand and helped her drink. Finally, the coughing stopped. "I'm okay," she whispered. Her voice was rough. Just a cough. But Marcus saw blood on the tissue she had pressed to her mouth. His heart sank. This was getting worse. She needed to see the doctor. But they could not afford more medical bills. They were already drowning in debt. "Maybe we should go to the hospital," Marcus said. "No," his mother's voice was firm. "No more hospitals. No more bills. We can't afford it. Mom, your health is more important than money." She smiled sadly. "Money is health, honey. Without money, we have no home. No food, no medicine. We need to be smart." Smart. Marcus did not feel smart. He felt helpless. He was 17 years old, trying to take care of his dying mother, trying to keep them from being homeless, trying to stay in school, trying to keep his sanity. How was he supposed to be smart about any of this? He helped his mother lie back down. He pulled the blanket up to her chin. She looked so small, so fragile. This woman who used to carry him on her shoulders, who used to dance and sing, who used to be so full of life. "I love you, Mom," Marcus said. "I love you too, baby. Everything will be okay. You'll see." But as Marcus walked back to his room, he did not believe it. Nothing felt okay. Nothing looked like it would be okay. They were 30 days away from being homeless. His mother was getting sicker. The debt was crushing them. And all he had was an old piano and impossible dreams. He lay in his bed staring at the ceiling. There was a water stain in the corner. It had been there for years. It looked like a face. A sad face. Marcus stared at it until his eyes got heavy. Tomorrow he would have to be strong again. He would have to smile. He would have to pretend everything was fine. He would have to ignore the kids who made fun of him. He would have to work. He would have to try. But tonight, lying in the dark, Marcus let himself feel it all. The fear, the sadness, the anger, the hopelessness. Tomorrow he would lock it all away. Tonight he let the tears come. The piano sat in the living room, silent in the darkness, waiting, always waiting. It did not know that soon, very soon, it would change everything. That the boy everyone laughed at would show them all. That the music they called useless would save them. But that was tomorrow's story. Tonight was just for surviving. Just for making it to morning. Just for holding on one more day. Marcus woke up to his phone alarm screaming in his ear. He had only slept 4 hours. His body felt like concrete. Every muscle ached. But he forced himself to get up. He had to. There was no choice. He got dressed in the same jeans he wore yesterday. They had a small hole in the knee. His shirt was clean but faded from too many washes. His shoes were falling apart. The sole on the left one was coming loose. He had tried to glue it back, but it kept flapping when he walked. In the bathroom, he splashed cold water on his face. The mirror showed a tired boy with dark circles under his eyes. He looked older than 17. Stress did that to people. It aged them from the inside out. He made breakfast for his mother. Oatmeal with a little brown sugar. That was all they had. He brought it to her room on a tray. She was already awake, staring at the ceiling. "Good morning, Mom," Marcus said, trying to sound cheerful. "Morning, baby." Her voice was weak. He helped her sit up and placed the tray on her lap. She looked at the oatmeal but did not eat. "You should eat this. You need your strength for school." "I already ate," Marcus lied. "This is for you. Please eat." She took a small bite to make him happy. Marcus watched her chew slowly, like even that took all her energy. His heart broke a little more. "I have to go," he said. "I'll be home after work. Round 6, be safe. I love you." "Love you too." Marcus grabbed his backpack and left the apartment. The flapping shoe made a slapping sound with every step. Kids on the street stared at him. Some pointed and whispered. He kept his head down and walked faster. Lincoln High School was a 20-minute walk. Marcus could have taken the bus, but that cost money. Walking was free. So he walked every day, rain or shine. The school was big and old. Red brick walls. Windows that did not close all the way. Lockers that jammed. But it was a school. And Marcus tried to care about his education. He really did. It was just so hard when everything else was falling apart. He went to his locker. Someone had written something on it in permanent marker. Poor boy. Marcus stared at the words. They had not been there yesterday. Someone did this overnight or early this morning. He tried to rub it off with his hand, but the marker did not budge. Nice decoration, a voice said behind him. Marcus turned around. It was Jake, his cousin. Jake was tall and athletic. He wore expensive sneakers and a basketball jersey. His hair was cut fresh. He smelled like expensive cologne. Everything about Jake screamed money and confidence. Did you do this? Marcus asked quietly. Jake laughed. Why would I waste my time? Everyone already knows you're broke. His friends stood behind him smirking. They looked at Marcus like he was dirt on their shoes. Just leave me alone, Jake. Oh, don't be so sensitive, cousin. I'm just playing with you. Jake dribbled an imaginary basketball. Hey, I heard your family is getting kicked out of your apartment. That true? Marcus's face got hot. How did Jake know? Word traveled fast in their neighborhood. Someone must have seen the eviction notice. That's none of your business, Marcus said. Wow, it is true. Jake laughed louder. Where you gonna go? The shelter? The streets? His friends joined in the laughter. Marcus closed his locker and tried to walk away. But Jake stepped in front of him. Hey, I'm talking to you. Don't be rude. Jake's smile was mean. I'm just concerned about family, you know? Maybe you could get some money if you played that stupid piano on the street corner. Put out a cup for change. I bet you'd make like $5 a day. The group erupted in laughter. Other students walking by stopped to see what was funny. Soon there was a small crowd. All watching. All listening. All judging. Yeah, piano boy. One of Jake's friends shouted. Play us a sad song. Does playing piano help you cry better? Another one added. Marcus felt his eyes burning. He would not cry, not here. Not in front of them. He pushed past Jake and walked quickly down the hall. The laughter followed him. It echoed off the walls. It felt like the whole school was laughing at him. His first class was history. Marcus sat in the back and tried to focus. The teacher was talking about World War II. Something about battles and dates. But Marcus could not concentrate. His mind kept replaying Jake's words. His face kept burning with shame. At lunch, Marcus sat alone in the corner of the cafeteria. He had no money for food. He had not packed a lunch. There was no food at home to pack, so he just sat there pretending to read a book, hoping no one noticed he was not eating. But Jake noticed. Jake always noticed. Yo, Marcus. Jake's voice carried across the cafeteria. You not eating? Oh wait, you can't afford food, right? Heads turned. Conversation stopped. Everyone looked at Marcus. Jake walked over with his tray of hot food. Pizza, fries, chocolate milk. He sat down across from Marcus. This must be hard for you, watching everyone else eat. Want a fry? He held out a fry, then pulled it back. Oh wait, charity probably hurts your pride, huh? Go away, Jake, Marcus said quietly. I'm just trying to help, cousin. Family helps family. Jake took a big bite of pizza. You know what your problem is? You waste time on useless stuff. Piano, really? That's not gonna feed you. That's not gonna pay rent. You should learn something useful, like how to flip burgers or clean toilets. That's more your speed. Some kids nearby laughed. Others looked uncomfortable, but no one said anything. No one stood up for Marcus. They just watched, like it was entertainment. A teacher walked by. Mrs. Chen, his music teacher. She saw what was happening. She stopped at their table. Is everything okay here? She asked. Everything's great, Mrs. Chen, Jake said with a fake smile. Just having lunch with my cousin. Right, Marcus? Marcus nodded. He did not want to make a scene. He just wanted this day to end. Mrs. Chen looked at Marcus with concern. Marcus, can I see you after lunch? I need to talk to you about something. Ooh, you in trouble? Jake teased after Mrs. Chen walked away. Marcus grabbed his backpack and stood up. He left the cafeteria without looking back. He could hear Jake still laughing, still talking about him. The words floated down the hallway. Piano boy can't take a joke. Marcus went to the bathroom and locked himself in a stall. He sat on the toilet lid and put his head in his hands. He was so tired, So tired of being poor. So tired of being different. So tired of being the joke. His phone buzzed. Another debt collector. Your account is seriously past due. Call us immediately. Delete. Another text. Final notice before legal action. Delete. Another call. Unknown number. He did not answer. The bathroom door opened. He heard footsteps, voices. Did you see Marcus at lunch? So pathetic. I know, right? Why does he even come to school? I heard his mom is dying. That's rough. Yeah, but he's so weird. Always quiet. Always alone. And that piano thing? So cringe. The voices faded as they left. Marcus sat very still. Even strangers talked about him. He was the school's entertainment. The sad story everyone whispered about, but no one helped. The bell rang. Time for next period. Marcus waited until the hallway got quiet, then snuck out. He went to music class. It was his only safe place in this whole school. Mrs. Chen was setting up sheet music when he walked in. She looked up and smiled. Marcus, come sit down. He sat at one of the desks. The room smelled like old wood and rosin. There was a piano in the corner. A nice one, much better than his piano at home. Sometimes Mrs. Chen let him practice on it after school. I wanted to talk to you about the spring assembly, Mrs. Chen said. We're doing a talent showcase next Friday. I want you to perform. Marcus's stomach dropped. Perform? In front of the whole school? Yes, I think it would be good for you. You're extremely talented, Marcus. The other students need to hear you play. Mrs. Chen, I don't think that's a good idea. Why not? How could he explain? How could he tell her that the whole school already hated him? That performing would just give them more reasons to laugh? That he could not handle more embarrassment? I'm not ready, he said. Mrs. Chen sat down next to him. Marcus, I know things are hard for you right now. I know you're dealing with a lot. But music is your gift. Don't hide it because you're afraid. I'm not afraid, Marcus lied. Yes, you are. And that's okay. But being afraid is not a reason to give up. She paused. The assembly is next Friday. I've already put your name on the schedule. You'll play for 10 minutes. That's it. What if I say no? Then I'll be very disappointed. And you'll miss an opportunity. Mrs. Chen smiled. Trust me on this, Marcus. Something good will come from it. Marcus did not believe her. But he also could not say no to Mrs. Chen. She was the only person who believed in him. Okay, I'll do it. Wonderful. You can play anything you want. Original composition. Classical piece. Whatever speaks to you. After class, Marcus walked through the hallways in a daze. Next Friday. He had to perform in front of everyone next Friday. In front of Jake. In front of the kids who called him names. In front of the teachers who thought he was wasting his time. He went to his last 2 classes but did not learn anything. His mind was too full. When the final bell rang, he walked to the grocery store for his shift. Work was the same as always. Boring and exhausting. His boss, Mr. Patterson, yelled at him for being too slow. Customers complained about prices like it was Marcus's fault. His coworkers ignored him. He spent 4 hours stocking shelves and bagging groceries. By the time he got home, it was dark. His feet hurt. His back hurt. He smelled like the store's cleaning products. But he had earned $40. $40 that would disappear into the bottomless pit of bills. His mother was asleep when he got home. Good. She needed rest. Marcus made himself a peanut butter sandwich and sat at the kitchen table. The eviction notice was still in his pocket. He pulled it out and read it again. 30 days. Now 29 days. Time was running out. He thought about the assembly next Friday. About performing in front of everyone. His hands started shaking just thinking about it. What would he play? His original song felt too personal, but he did not want to play something boring. Marcus went to the piano. He sat down and placed his fingers on the keys. The apartment was quiet except for the sound of cars outside. He started playing softly so he would not wake his mother. He played his song, Resilience. It flowed out of him like water. The sad parts, the angry parts, the hopeful parts, all of it mixed together. The song told his story without words. It said everything he could not say out loud. As he played, he imagined performing it at the assembly. He imagined the quiet auditorium. Maybe, just maybe, people would listen. Maybe they would hear the music instead of seeing the poor kid with the broken shoes. Or maybe they would laugh. Maybe Jake would make jokes. Maybe it would be the most humiliating moment of his life. But Mrs. Chen believed in him. She thought something good would come from it. Marcus wanted to believe that too. He wanted to believe that music mattered, that his gift was real, that he was not just wasting his time. He played until his fingers were too tired to continue. Then he went to bed. Tomorrow would come fast. More school, more work, more struggling. But also one day closer to the assembly. One day closer to either his biggest moment or his worst nightmare. Marcus was not sure which one it would be. But ready or not, next Friday was coming. And he would be standing on that stage, playing his heart out, hoping that someone, anyone, would really listen. The piano sat silent in the dark apartment. It had heard his fears. It had felt his doubts. But it also knew something Marcus did not know yet. It knew that sometimes, the moments we fear the most become the moments that change everything. Next Friday would change everything. The whole school was about to discover what Marcus could really do, and one person in that audience would see something extraordinary, someone who would open a door Marcus did not even know existed. But tonight Marcus just worried. He worried and hoped and prayed that he would not completely embarrass himself. That was all he could do, worry and hope and pray. Outside his window the city lights twinkled. Somewhere out there, people were living easier lives. People who did not worry about eviction notices or medical bills or being homeless. People who had never been laughed at for following their dreams. Marcus closed his eyes and tried to sleep. In his dreams, he played piano to a silent audience. They watched without expression, without judgment, without laughter or applause, just watching, waiting, to see if he would break or if he would soar. When he woke up, 6 days would remain until the assembly. 6 days until his world changed. 6 days until the piano boy showed everyone what he was really made of. The week passed too quickly. Every day brought Marcus closer to Friday, closer to the assembly, closer to the moment he would have to stand in front of the entire school. He practiced every night after work. His fingers moved across the keys, playing his song over and over. Sometimes it sounded beautiful. Sometimes it sounded terrible. Marcus could not tell anymore. His nerves made everything confusing. By Thursday night, he could barely sleep. He lay in bed staring at the ceiling, his heart pounding. What had he agreed to? Why did he say yes to Mrs. Chen? This was going to be a disaster. Friday morning came too fast. Marcus got dressed in his cleanest clothes, a button-up shirt that was too small, his pants that were too short, his broken shoes. He looked in the mirror and wanted to cry. He looked poor. Everyone would see it. Everyone would judge. At breakfast, his mother noticed how quiet he was. "What's wrong, honey?" "I have to perform today." "At a school assembly." Her tired face lit up. "Marcus, that's wonderful. I wish I could be there." "It's okay, Mom. It's not a big deal. It is a big deal. You're sharing your gift with people. Your father would be so proud." She coughed. "I'm proud." Marcus forced a smile. He kissed her forehead and left for school. The walk felt longer than usual. Each step brought him closer to his doom. His stomach felt sick. His hands were sweaty. Maybe he could fake being sick. Maybe he could hide in the bathroom. Maybe he could just run away and never come back. But he kept walking, one foot in front of the other. Because Mrs. Chen believed in him. Because his mother was proud. Because maybe, just maybe, this would not be completely terrible. The school was buzzing with energy. Everyone was talking about the assembly. Marcus heard pieces of conversation as he walked through the halls. "I heard the basketball team is doing a highlight video. Sarah is singing. She's really good. There's some piano thing too. Probably boring." Marcus's locker still had "Poor Boy" written on it. He opened it and grabbed nothing. Just stood there staring at his empty locker, trying to breathe. "Hey, cousin." Jake appeared next to him. "Big day, huh?" "I heard you're performing." He laughed. "This is going to be hilarious. Please don't cry on stage, okay? That would be too embarrassing even for you." His friends gathered around, grinning. They looked like wolves circling prey. "What are you going to play?" "Chopsticks?" one of them asked. "Maybe the sad Charlie Brown song," another added. They all laughed. Marcus closed his locker and walked away. Their laughter followed him. It was going to be a long day. Classes dragged by slowly. Marcus could not focus on anything. Math problems looked like random numbers. English words made no sense. His teachers called on him and he had no answers. Some classmates whispered and pointed. Everyone knew he was performing. Everyone was waiting to see him fail. Lunch was worse. Jake made a big show of it. He stood on a chair in the cafeteria and announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, Today we get to see Marcus the piano boy perform. Let's all give him a round of applause. He started clapping slowly. Some kids joined in. The mocking applause echoed through the cafeteria. Marcus wanted to disappear. He wanted the floor to swallow him whole. Instead, he sat in the corner and pretended to be invisible. Mrs. Chen found him there. Marcus, the assembly starts in 30 minutes. Come with me to the auditorium. You can warm up. The auditorium was huge. Rows and rows of seats. A big stage with heavy curtains. In the center of the stage sat a beautiful grand piano. Black and shiny. So different from his old brown piano at home. You'll go on after the basketball video, Mrs. Chen explained. Just walk out, sit down, and play. Don't think about the audience. Just play for yourself. Easy for her to say. She was not the one about to be humiliated. Marcus sat at the piano and played a few notes. The sound was incredible. Rich and deep. The keys were smooth under his fingers. If he was going to embarrass himself, at least he would do it on a beautiful instrument. Students started filing into the auditorium. Their voices created a loud buzz, laughing, talking, excited for the show. Marcus watched from behind the curtain as the seats filled up. So many people. Hundreds of faces. All of them would be watching him. His hands started shaking. His breathing got fast. He felt dizzy. This was a mistake. A terrible mistake, Marcus. Mrs. Chen put her hand on his shoulder. Breathe. You're going to be wonderful. The lights dimmed. Principal Martinez walked onto the stage. Welcome, students and staff, to our Spring Talent Showcase. Applause. We have some amazing acts today. Let's get started. First was a dance group. They were good. The crowd cheered. Then came Sarah singing a pop song. She was really good. More cheers. Then the basketball video played on a big screen. It showed the team's best moments from the season. The crowd went wild. People stomped their feet, whistled, screamed. Jake was in the video. He made a three-point shot and the crowd erupted. Marcus watched from backstage, feeling smaller and smaller. How could he follow that? How could his quiet piano playing compare to the excitement of basketball? The video ended. Principal Martinez walked back on stage. That was fantastic. Now, for something different, we have Marcus Rivera performing an original piano composition. The applause was polite, quiet. Nothing like the roar for the basketball team. Marcus heard someone yell, "Piano boy!" More laughter. Mrs. Chen gave him a gentle push. Go, you've got this. Marcus walked onto the stage. The lights were bright in his eyes. He could not see individual faces, just a sea of dark shapes. He heard whispers, giggles. Someone coughed loudly. Someone else said something that made people laugh. His broken shoe flapped as he walked. Someone noticed. Look at his shoes. More laughter. Marcus sat at the piano. His hands were shaking so bad he had to press them against his legs to steady them. The audience got quieter but not silent. He heard voices. This is going to be boring. How long do we have to sit here? Wake me up when it's over. Then Jake's voice, loud and clear. Play us something that'll pay your rent. The whole section around Jake exploded in laughter. Marcus felt tears pushing at his eyes. He blinked them back. He placed his fingers on the keys. They were cold and smooth. He took a deep breath and then he began to play. What Marcus did not know was that someone very special was in that auditorium. Someone who was not supposed to be there. Someone whose life was about to collide with Marcus's in a way that would change everything. Alexander Petrov sat in the back row of the auditorium. He was a tall man with gray hair and sharp blue eyes. He wore an expensive suit. He did not belong at a high school assembly. But his niece attended Lincoln High and he had come to surprise her. Alexander Petrov was not just any man. He was one of the most famous pianists in the world. He had played in concert halls from Moscow to New York. He had won awards, made recordings, taught at the finest music schools, and now in his 60s he spent his time finding and helping young musicians through his foundation. He had been about to leave. High school talent shows were not his thing, but something made him stay. Maybe curiosity, maybe fate. When Marcus walked onto the stage, Petrov noticed the boy's clothes, the broken shoes, the way he moved like he wanted to disappear. The old man recognized that walk. He had walked like that once, a long time ago, when he was a poor boy in Russia with nothing but a dream and a piano. The first note Marcus played froze Petrov in his seat. It was wrong. Not bad wrong. Wrong in a good way. Wrong in a way that meant this boy was not playing something he memorized. He was playing something from inside his soul. The auditorium grew quieter. The laughter stopped. Conversations faded. Something was happening on that stage. Something unexpected. Marcus played his song. Resilience. It started soft and sad, like a whisper of pain. The melody told the story of loss. Every note carried weight, carried meaning. This was not just music. This was truth. Petrov leaned forward. His experienced ear caught everything. The technical skill was impressive. The boy had clearly studied classical technique, but that was not what made Petrov's heart race. It was the emotion, the raw, unfiltered feeling pouring out of this child. In the audience, students started putting away their phones. They stopped talking. They listened. Really listened. Some of them had never heard live piano music before. Not like this. Not music that made them feel something deep in their chest. Marcus's fingers moved faster. The song grew stronger. The sadness transformed into determination. The melody climbed higher, speaking of struggle, of fighting, of refusing to give up even when everything was falling apart. Teachers in the audience looked at each other in surprise. They had expected a simple piano recital. Instead, they were witnessing something remarkable. Sarah, the girl who had sung earlier, sat with her mouth open. She had thought her performance was the best of the day. But this was different. This was art. Even Jake stopped smiling. He sat very still, watching his cousin on stage. Something twisted in his chest. He had made fun of Marcus for so long. Called piano useless. Called Marcus a loser. But listening to this music, Jake felt something he could not name. Shame, maybe, or awe. The song reached its peak. Marcus's whole body moved with the music. His eyes were closed. He was somewhere else. Somewhere beyond the auditorium. Beyond the school. Beyond the pain of his life. He was in the music. He was the music. Petrov felt tears in his eyes. He had heard thousands of pianists, professional musicians who had trained their entire lives. But this boy, this poor boy with broken shoes, was playing with a depth of feeling that could not be taught. It could only come from suffering, from living through darkness and finding light. The melody began to descend. The song was ending, but it did not end in sadness. It ended in hope, quiet, fragile hope, like the first light of dawn after the longest night. The final notes hung in the air, soft and pure. Marcus played the last chord. His hands lifted from the keys. He opened his eyes. The auditorium was completely silent. Not a cough. Not a whisper. Nothing. For 3 seconds, the silence held. Marcus's heart sank. They hated it. They thought it was boring. He had failed. Then it happened. Someone started clapping. Then another person. Then another. Within seconds, the entire auditorium erupted in applause. Not polite applause. Real applause. Loud and enthusiastic. People stood up. The clapping got louder. Marcus sat frozen at the piano, unable to believe what he was hearing. Students were standing. Teachers were standing. Everyone was clapping. Some were cheering. He saw Mrs. Chen in the front row with tears streaming down her face, clapping so hard her hands must have hurt. Even Jake was on his feet. Not clapping enthusiastically, but clapping. His face looked confused, like he could not understand what had just happened. Petrov stood in the back, clapping slowly, his mind racing. This boy. This incredible, talented, precious boy. Where had he come from? Who was teaching him? Did anyone know what they had here? Principal Martinez walked onto the stage, still clapping. He shook Marcus's hand. That was extraordinary, Mr. Rivera, truly extraordinary. Marcus stumbled off the stage in a daze. Students he did not know stopped him to say it was amazing. Teachers nodded at him with respect. He felt like he was in a dream. A good dream for once. Mrs. Chen grabbed him in a hug. I told you something good would come from this. But the best part was yet to come. As Marcus walked toward the exit, a tall man in an expensive suit approached him. The man had kind eyes and a thick accent. Excuse me, young man, the man said. My name is Alexander Petrov. I need to speak with you right now. Marcus looked at Mrs. Chen, confused. She looked at the man and her eyes went wide. Alexander Petrov? The Alexander Petrov? Yes, the man smiled. And this young man, he pointed at Marcus, is extraordinarily gifted. We need to talk immediately. Mrs. Chen grabbed Marcus's arm. Her hand was shaking. Marcus, do you know who this is? He's one of the greatest pianists in the world. Marcus felt the world tilting. This could not be real. People like Alexander Petrov did not talk to people like him. This was not how life worked. But Petrov was already leading him to an empty classroom. Mrs. Chen followed, looking like she might faint. In the classroom, Petrov closed the door. He looked at Marcus with intense focus. How long have you been playing? Since I was 5, Marcus answered quietly. Who teaches you? I teach myself mostly, and Mrs. Chen helps me. That piece you played, where did you learn it? I wrote it. Petrov's eyebrows shot up. You wrote it? That was your composition? Marcus nodded. Petrov turned to Mrs. Chen. This boy is a genius. You understand that, yes? A genuine prodigy. Mrs. Chen nodded, crying again. I know, I've been telling everyone. Petrov turned back to Marcus. I run a foundation. We find talented young musicians and help them. I want to help you. He paused. Next month we are hosting the Harmony Gala. It is the biggest charity concert in the state. Hundreds of important people attend. Musicians, business leaders, philanthropists, media. I want you to perform there. Marcus's mind went blank. I what? You heard me. I want you to perform. The same piece you played today. On a real stage. In front of real audience. Why, but I can't. I have to work. My family. Marcus's voice broke. How could he explain? How could he tell this important man that he was about to be homeless? Tell me, Petrov said gently. What is your situation? So Marcus told him. Everything, his father's death, his mother's cancer, the medical bills, the eviction, the debt collectors, the $47,000 they owed. All of it spilled out in a rush of words. By the end, Marcus was crying. He had held it in for so long. Now it all came pouring out. Petrov listened to every word. His face grew serious. When Marcus finished, the old man was quiet for a moment. Then he said something that would change Marcus's life forever. I will take care of everything. Marcus stared at Alexander Petrov. The words hung in the air. I will take care of everything. They did not make sense. How could anyone take care of everything? Everything was too big, too broken, too impossible. What do you mean? Marcus asked quietly. Petrov sat down and looked directly into Marcus's eyes. I mean exactly what I said. The Petrov Foundation will help you. First, we will handle your mother's medical debt. All of it. Second, we will help with your housing situation. Third, we will prepare you for the Harmony Gala performance. And fourth, if you want it, I am offering you a full scholarship to the Eastman School of Music. The room spun. Marcus grabbed the desk to steady himself. Mrs. Chen made a sound like a gasp and a sob combined. This could not be real. Things like this did not happen to people like him. Why? Marcus whispered. Why would you do this? Petrov's face softened. Because 40 years ago, I was you. I grew up in a tiny apartment in Moscow. My father was a factory worker. My mother cleaned houses. We had nothing. But we had an old piano and I could play. One day a man heard me and changed my life. He paid for my education. He gave me opportunities. He believed in me when no one else did. The old man stood up and walked to the window. That man made me promise something. He said, Alexander, when you are successful, you must do the same for others. You must find the children who have talent but no chance. You must give them what I gave you. I have kept that promise for 30 years. I have helped over 100 young musicians. And now, Marcus, I want to help you. Marcus could not speak. His throat was too tight. Tears ran down his face. He had spent so long trying to be strong, trying not to break. Now in this moment, all the fear and pain and hope came flooding out. Mrs. Chen walked over and put her arm around him. Marcus, this is real. This is happening. Petrov pulled out his phone. I am going to make some calls right now. First, to the hospital about your mother's debt. What is the name of the hospital? Marcus told him. Petrov dialed a number and walked to the corner of the room. Marcus could hear him speaking in a firm, confident voice. Yes, this is Alexander Petrov from the Petrov Foundation. I need to speak with your billing department about a patient named Maria Rivera. While Petrov talked, Mrs. Chen held Marcus as he cried. You deserve this, she whispered. You deserve every bit of this. Your talent is real. Your hard work is real. Good things are finally happening. Petrov talked on the phone for 20 minutes. He called the hospital. Then he called someone at his foundation. Then he called a lawyer. Then he called someone else. Each call was about Marcus, about helping his family, about making the nightmare end. Finally, Petrov hung up and turned back to Marcus. It is done. The foundation is paying the entire medical debt today. By this evening, your family will owe nothing. The debt collectors will stop calling. The hospital will send you a letter confirming zero balance. Marcus shook his head. That's $47,000. That's too much. I can't accept that. You can and you will, Petrov said firmly. This is what my foundation does. We help talented young people who face impossible situations. The money means nothing to me. But to you, it means everything. It means your mother can focus on getting well. It means you can focus on music. It means you get a chance at the life you deserve. But the eviction, Marcus started, already handled. I spoke with a housing coordinator. The foundation has emergency housing assistance. We will pay your rent for the next 6 months while you prepare for the gala and apply to music schools. After that, when you are at Eastman, you will have a full scholarship plus a living stipend. Your mother will be taken care of. It was too much. Too good, too impossible. Marcus felt like he might pass out. I don't understand. This morning I had nothing. Now you have a future, Petrov finished. But Marcus, you must understand something. I am not giving you this because I feel sorry for you. I am giving you this because you have earned it. Your talent has earned it. Your dedication has earned it. The music you played today was not the music of a child. It was the music of an artist. You have something rare and precious. The world needs to hear it. Mrs. Chen wiped her eyes. What happens next? Petrov pulled out a business card and handed it to Marcus. Tomorrow is Saturday. Come to this address at 10 in the morning. Bring your mother if she is able. We will discuss all the details, the gala, the scholarship, everything. For now, go home. Tell your mother the good news, rest, process this. Your life just changed, Marcus Rivera. Marcus took the card with shaking hands. The Petrov Foundation. An address in the nice part of the city. A phone number. This was real. This was actually happening. Thank you, Marcus said. The words felt too small. How do you thank someone for saving your life? Thank you could not cover it. But it was all he had. Petrov smiled and put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Thank you for having the courage to play. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for showing me that my search was not in vain. Now go. Go home to your mother. Marcus walked out of the school in a daze. Students passed him in the hallway. Some smiled at him. Some said his performance was great. He barely heard them. His mind was spinning with everything that had just happened. The walk home felt different. The broken shoe still flapped. The clothes were still too small. But Marcus felt lighter. Like a weight had been lifted off his chest. For the first time in 2 years, he could breathe. He walked faster. He had to tell his mother. She would not believe it. He barely believed it himself. But it was real. The debt was gone. The eviction was stopped. They had a future. He ran up the stairs to their apartment. He burst through the door. Mom, Mom! His mother was in her room. She heard him and called out, Marcus, what's wrong? He ran to her room. She was sitting up in bed looking worried. Nothing's wrong. Everything is right. Everything is finally right. What are you talking about? Marcus sat on the edge of her bed and took her hands. The performance today. There was a man there, a famous pianist. He runs a foundation. Mom, he's paying off all our medical debt, all of it. $47,000 gone, and he's helping with rent. And he's giving me a scholarship to music school, and I get to perform at a huge concert. Mom, we're going to be okay. We're actually going to be okay. His mother stared at him, her eyes filled with tears. Marcus, are you joking? Please don't joke about this. I'm not joking. I swear it's real. Call the hospital if you don't believe me. They said we'd get a letter tonight. She put her hands over her mouth. Her whole body started shaking. She cried. Deep, heavy sobs. Marcus held her and cried too. 2 years of fear and pain poured out of them both. Your father would be so proud, she said between sobs. So proud. They sat like that for a long time, holding each other, crying, believing, finally believing that good things could happen. That evening the letter came. Marcus opened it with trembling hands. Official hospital letterhead. Dear Ms. Rivera, we are pleased to inform you that your account balance of $47,312 has been paid in full by the Petrov Foundation for Young Musicians. Your balance is now zero. Thank you. Marcus showed his mother. She read it 3 times. Then she pressed it to her chest and cried again. It's real. It's actually real. It's real, Mom. That night, Marcus called the number on Petrov's business card. A woman answered. Petrov Foundation, how may I help you? This is Marcus Rivera, Mr. Petrov told me to call. Oh yes, Marcus. Mr. Petrov has told us all about you. Hold on, please. A moment later, Petrov's voice came on the line. Marcus, good. I wanted to make sure you received confirmation about the debt. Yes, sir. The hospital sent a letter. I still can't believe it. Believe it. Now, tomorrow at 10. Do not be late. We have much to discuss. I'll be there. Sir, thank you. Thank you so much. Save your thanks. Show your gratitude by becoming the musician you are meant to be. That is the only thanks I need. Marcus hung up and looked around the apartment. The same cracked walls. The same broken furniture. The same old piano. But everything felt different. Everything felt possible. He sat at the piano and played. Not his sad song. Not resilience. He played something joyful. Something bright. His fingers danced across the keys, making up a happy melody as he went. The music filled the apartment. It floated out the window and into the street. His mother listened from her room, smiling for the first time in months. Real smile. Not forced. Not pretending, real joy. Outside, Jake was walking past with his basketball. He heard the music coming from Marcus's window. He stopped and listened. It sounded different than usual. Happier. He felt that twist in his chest again. Guilt. Regret. Jake thought about all the times he had made fun of Marcus. All the cruel jokes. All the laughter at his cousin's expense. He thought about Marcus's performance today. How everyone had been so wrong about him. How Jake had been so wrong. He stood there for a few minutes listening to the piano. Then he walked away, bouncing his basketball slowly, thinking about things he had never thought about before. Inside, Marcus played until his fingers were tired. Then he went to his mother's room to check on her. She was asleep, but she looked peaceful. The lines of stress on her face seemed softer. She was breathing easier. Marcus went to his room and lay in bed. For the first time in 2 years, he was not terrified about tomorrow. He was not worried about money. He was not afraid of losing everything. Tomorrow held promise. Tomorrow held hope. Tomorrow was the beginning of something new. He thought about his father. He wished his father could have been there today. Could have heard the performance. Could have seen what happened. But maybe somehow his father did know. Maybe he was watching. Maybe he was proud. I did it, Dad, Marcus whispered into the dark. I played and everything changed. Just like Grandma always said. Music is magic. She was right. Sleep came easy that night. No nightmares. No anxiety. Just deep, peaceful sleep. The sleep of someone who has been carrying the world on their shoulders and finally got to put it down. In another part of the city, Alexander Petrov sat in his expensive apartment looking at photos on his phone. Photos from the assembly. Someone had recorded Marcus's performance. Petrov watched it again, listening carefully. Yes, he thought. This boy is special. Truly special. He will go far. Petrov thought about his own mentor from long ago. The man who had saved him. Who had believed in him. Who had given him a chance. That man was gone now, had been for many years. But his legacy lived on. Through Petrov. Through the foundation. Through every child they helped. I kept my promise, Petrov said to the photo of his old mentor on the wall. I found another one. A good one. You would like him. He closed his laptop and smiled. Tomorrow he would change Marcus's life even more. He would show the boy what was possible. He would open doors. He would give him the tools to succeed. But the talent, the heart, the soul of the music, that was all Marcus. That could not be taught or given. That was his gift. Saturday morning, Marcus woke up early. He dressed in his best clothes. His mother was feeling strong enough to come with him. She wore her nicest dress. It was old but clean. They both looked poor, but they looked proud. They took the bus to the nice part of the city. The Petrov Foundation building was beautiful. Glass and steel. Modern and expensive. They walked inside holding hands. A receptionist smiled at them. You must be Marcus and Maria Rivera. Please follow me. She led them to a conference room. Petrov was there, along with 3 other people. A lawyer, an accountant, a music coordinator. They all smiled warmly. Please sit, Petrov said. We have much to cover. For the next 2 hours, they went over everything. The scholarship to Eastman, the stipend for living expenses, the housing assistance, the details of the Harmony Gala performance, transportation, wardrobe, rehearsal time. Everything was planned. Everything was covered. Maria cried several times. She kept saying thank you. Kept saying she could not believe it. The lawyer assured her it was all real, all legal, all happening. Your son is very talented, the lawyer said. Mr. Petrov does not do this for just anyone. Marcus has something rare. By the time they left the foundation, Marcus's head was spinning. He had signed papers. He had a schedule. He had a performance date. 1 month from now, he would stand on a real stage and play for thousands of people. Important people. People who could change his life even more. On the bus ride home, Maria held Marcus's hand. My baby is going to be famous. Mom, I'm not famous. Not yet. But you will be. The whole world will hear you play. Marcus smiled. Maybe she was right. Maybe this was just the beginning. A month ago, he had been drowning in debt and despair. Now he had hope. A real solid hope built on someone's belief in him. The piano boy who everyone laughed at was about to show the world what he could do. And the world, he hoped, would finally listen. The next month passed like a dream. Marcus could not believe his new life. Every morning he woke up and had to remind himself it was real. The debt was really gone. They were really staying in their apartment. He really had a scholarship. It was all really happening. The foundation gave him access to a practice studio with a beautiful grand piano. He went there every day after school. No more working at the grocery store, Mr. Petrov had insisted. Your job now is to practice, to prepare, to become the musician you are meant to be. Mrs. Chen helped him refine his performance. They worked on his posture, his timing, the emotional flow of his composition. She was so proud of him. Sometimes she would just sit and watch him practice, tears in her eyes. You were meant for this, she told him one day. I knew it from the first time I heard you play. You have something that cannot be taught. You feel the music in your bones. At school, everything changed. Students who had ignored him now said hello in the hallways. Some asked for his autograph. You're gonna be famous, they said. Marcus did not know about that. He just knew he was grateful. Jake approached him one day at lunch. Marcus was eating real food now. The foundation had given him a food allowance. Jake stood across from him looking uncomfortable. Hey, Jake said quietly. Hey, Marcus replied, can I sit? Marcus nodded. Jake sat down and stared at his hands for a long moment. I'm sorry, Jake finally said. For everything. For making fun of you. For being a jerk. For not understanding. He looked up. That performance you did. It was incredible. I've never heard anything like it. Marcus did not know what to say. He had waited so long to hear those words. Now that they came, they felt strange. Not as satisfying as he had imagined. It's okay, Marcus said. No, it's not. I was wrong. About piano being useless. About you wasting your time. I was wrong about everything. Jake's eyes were honest. Real. You're really talented, man. Like really talented. And I'm proud to tell people you're my cousin. Marcus felt something shift inside him. The anger he had carried melted away. Jake was still Jake, still clueless sometimes. But he was trying. That mattered. Thanks, Jake, that means a lot. They talked for a while. Really talked. For the first time ever. Jake asked about the upcoming performance. About music school. About Marcus's dreams. Marcus told him everything. By the end of lunch, they were not quite friends, but they were not enemies either. They were family again. At home, Marcus's mother was getting better. With the stress of debt gone, she could focus on healing. The treatments were working. She had more energy. She smiled more. She even cooked dinner sometimes. Small victories that meant everything. I'm coming to your performance, she announced one evening. I don't care if I have to crawl there. I will be in that audience watching my son shine. Mom, you don't have to. Yes, I do. I have to be there. For you, for your father, for your grandmother, for all of us. Marcus hugged her. She felt stronger in his arms. Not the fragile, sick woman from before. She was coming back. His real mom was coming back. The days counted down. 3 weeks. 2 weeks. 1 week. Marcus practiced constantly. His fingers knew every note by heart. He could play Resilience in his sleep. But Petrov pushed him harder. Technical perfection is not enough, Petrov said during one practice session. You must make them feel. Make them cry. Make them remember this moment for the rest of their lives. You have that power, Marcus. Use it. What if I freeze up? Marcus asked. What if I mess up? You will not freeze. You will not mess up. You know why? Petrov leaned in close. Because you have already survived the hardest part. You have lived through loss and poverty and pain. A stage is nothing compared to that. These people in the audience, they have comfortable lives. Most of them do not know real struggle. You will show them. You will make them understand. And they will never forget you. 3 days before the performance, the foundation took Marcus shopping for concert attire. They went to an expensive store downtown, the kind of place Marcus had never been inside. The kind of place he had walked past and wondered what it was like. The salesman measured him and brought out a black suit. Perfectly tailored, perfectly fitted. Marcus looked in the mirror and barely recognized himself. He looked older, professional, like a real pianist. You look very handsome, the coordinator from the foundation said. Very distinguished. They bought him new shoes, too. Real shoes. Expensive leather shoes that did not flap when he walked. Marcus almost cried looking at them. Such a simple thing. Shoes that worked. But to him, they were everything. They were proof that his life had really changed. The night before the performance, Marcus could not sleep. He lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, his heart pounding. Tomorrow was the big day. Tomorrow would determine everything. What if people did not like it? What if he was not as good as Petrov thought? What if this was all a mistake? His mother came into his room. She sat on the edge of his bed like she used to when he was little. Can't sleep? She asked. I'm scared, Mom. I know. That's okay. Being scared means you care. It means this matters. She stroked his hair. Your grandmother used to tell me something. She said that butterflies in your stomach are just your soul getting excited. Your soul knows something wonderful is about to happen. What if I fail? You won't. But even if something goes wrong, you have already won. You have already proven yourself. You survived, Marcus. You took care of me. You worked so hard. You never gave up on your music. That makes you a success no matter what happens tomorrow. Marcus hugged her tight. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby. Now sleep. Tomorrow you show the world who Marcus Rivera really is. She left and closed the door. Marcus lay there for another hour before finally falling asleep. He dreamed of music, of stages, of his father and grandmother watching from somewhere beyond, proud and smiling. The day of the Harmony Gala arrived. Marcus woke up early. The sun was just coming up. He ate breakfast but could barely taste it. He put on his new suit. The new shoes. He looked in the mirror. Today was the day. A car came to pick them up. A nice car, a driver in a uniform. Maria wore her best dress. She had even done her hair. She looked beautiful, healthy, happy. They held hands in the back seat as the driver took them to the concert hall. The concert hall was massive, much bigger than Marcus had imagined. It was old and grand, with tall columns and ornate decorations. The marble floors shined. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. This was where symphonies played, where famous musicians performed. And today Marcus would play here too. Backstage was chaos. People rushed around setting up lights and sound equipment. Other performers warmed up. A violinist, a soprano singer, a jazz band, all of them professionals, all of them experienced. Marcus was the youngest performer by far. Petrov found him and smiled. How do you feel? Terrified. Good. That is the correct feeling. Petrov put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. The audience tonight is over 2,000 people. Business leaders, politicians, celebrities, media. They have come to support charity and hear music. You will give them something they will never forget. What if? No what ifs. You are ready. I have heard you play 100 times. You are more than ready. Trust yourself. Trust your gift. Trust the music. Marcus's mother came over and kissed his cheek. You are going to be wonderful. I am so proud of you. An assistant came to get Maria. Ma'am, let me show you to your seat. You have a reserved spot in the front row. Marcus hugged his mother one more time, then watched her walk away. She looked back and waved. He waved back. Then it was just him and the piano waiting in the wings. The concert began. Marcus watched from backstage. The jazz band went first. They were incredible. The audience loved them. Huge applause. Then the soprano sang an aria from an opera. Her voice was perfect. More applause. The violinist played a complex piece by Paganini. Flawless. Standing ovation. How could he follow these professionals? How could a 17-year-old kid with one song compete with this level of talent? Then Petrov was next to him. It is almost time. Remember, you are not competing with them. You are sharing your truth. That is what makes you special. The stage manager counted down. 2 minutes, Marcus. His hands started shaking. His breathing got fast. This was it. No going back. 1 minute. Marcus walked to the edge of the stage. He could hear the audience. Over 2,000 people. He could see the piano sitting in the spotlight, waiting for him. 30 seconds. His whole life had led to this moment. Every hour of practice. Every bill he worried about. Every tear he cried. Every time someone laughed at him. Every time he wanted to give up but did not. All of it brought him here. You're on. Marcus walked onto the stage. The lights were bright. The audience was a sea of faces. He could see his mother in the front row, crying already, smiling so big. He could see Mrs. Chen next to her. He could see other faces, strangers, important people in expensive clothes, all watching him. He sat at the grand piano. The bench was perfect height. The piano gleamed black and beautiful. He placed his fingers on the keys. They felt like home. The audience grew silent, 2,000 people holding their breath, waiting, wondering what this boy would do. Marcus closed his eyes. He thought of his father, his grandmother, all the pain, all the struggle, all the hope. He let it all fill him up. Then he began to play. The first notes of resilience floated into the huge concert hall. Soft, sad, beautiful. Marcus poured everything into the music. Every emotion, every memory, every dream. He played the story of loss, of his father's death, of his mother's illness. The notes cried. They mourned. But they also remembered the good times, the love that was still there even after death. In the audience, people sat completely still. Some had come tonight expecting boring classical music, something to politely sit through while sipping wine. Instead, they were witnessing raw emotion turned into sound. Many had tears in their eyes within the first minute. Marcus's fingers moved faster. The music changed. Now it told the story of struggle, of working, of fighting to survive, of bill collectors, of eviction notices, of feeling so small and helpless. The melody turned angry, desperate, dark. It showed the reality of poverty that most people in this room had never experienced. A news reporter in the audience wiped her eyes. A CEO who made millions every year felt his chest tighten. A politician who had never worried about money in his life suddenly understood suffering in a new way. But then the music shifted again. It climbed higher. The darkness began to lift. This was the turning point. The moment of choice. Give up or keep fighting. The melody asked a question. Will you survive? Will you find the strength? And the answer came in a surge of powerful notes. Yes. Yes, I will survive. The music grew stronger, more determined. It showed resilience. The real kind. Not the pretty kind people talk about. The ugly, painful kind. The kind that makes you get up when you want to stay down. The kind that makes you try when trying seems pointless. Marcus played with his whole body now. He swayed with the music. His face showed every emotion. He was not performing. He was reliving. He was sharing his soul with 2,000 strangers and asking them to understand. In the front row, his mother sobbed openly. Mrs. Chen held her hand, crying too. They knew. They had lived this story with him. They knew every note was true. Every phrase was real. This was not just music. This was Marcus's life. The piece reached its peak. The loudest part. The most intense part. It showed the moment everything changed. The moment hope appeared when all seemed lost. The moment someone believed. The moment a door opened. The melody soared, triumphant and joyful and grateful. So grateful. Then it began to descend, getting softer, gentler. The ending approached, but it did not end in sadness. It ended in peace, in acceptance, in hope for tomorrow. The final notes were quiet and pure, like a prayer, like a promise, like a new beginning. Marcus played the last chord. It hung in the air, vibrating, fading slowly. He lifted his hands from the keys. He opened his eyes. The stage lights felt warm on his face. Silence. Complete silence. just like at the school assembly. But this time Marcus was not afraid. He knew what was coming. The silence broke. One person started clapping, then another, then everyone. But this was different from the school. This was thunderous, explosive. The entire audience rose to their feet as one. 2,000 people standing and applauding. Not polite applause, not obligatory applause. Real, genuine, moved to their core applause. People were crying, openly crying. A woman in a diamond necklace stood with mascara running down her face, clapping until her hands must have hurt. A man in an expensive suit wiped his eyes with his sleeve, not caring who saw. The news reporter was not even trying to hide her tears. The applause went on and on. Marcus stood up from the piano, overwhelmed. He had never heard anything so loud, so powerful. He tried to bow, but his legs felt weak. He looked at his mother. She was standing, clapping, crying, mouthing, "I love you," over and over. Petrov walked onto the stage, also clapping, smiling bigger than Marcus had ever seen. He hugged Marcus and whispered in his ear, "I told you. You made them feel. You made them understand." The applause continued for 5 full minutes. People did not want to stop. They did not want this moment to end. Marcus bowed again and again. Finally, the stage manager had to signal that he needed to exit so the show could continue. Marcus walked off stage in a daze. Backstage, the other performers gathered around him. The soprano singer hugged him. "That was the most beautiful thing I have ever heard," she said. The violinist shook his hand. "You are going to be a star, young man." The rest of the concert happened, but no one could focus. Marcus's performance was all anyone could talk about. During intermission, audience members crowded around, trying to find out who he was. The news reporter tracked down Petrov for an interview. "Who is that boy?" she asked, camera rolling. "His name is Marcus Rivera. He is 17 years old. He wrote that piece himself. And yes, he is available for interviews." Petrov smiled. "The world is about to discover him." After the concert ended, there was a reception. Important people wanted to meet Marcus. A recording executive gave him a business card. "Call me. I want to discuss an album." A representative from another music school offered another scholarship. "We want you at Juilliard." A famous concert pianist, someone Marcus had only seen in videos, shook his hand. That was extraordinary. In 40 years of performing, I have rarely heard anything that moved me like that. "You have a profound gift." Marcus tried to take it all in, but it was too much, too overwhelming, too unreal. Just a month ago, he had been a poor kid everyone laughed at. Now these important famous people treated him like he mattered, like he was special. The news reporter approached him. "Marcus, can I interview you for the evening news?" Okay," Marcus stammered. She turned on her camera. "Marcus Rivera, everyone is talking about your performance tonight. Can you tell us about the piece you played?" Marcus thought about his answer. "It's called Resilience. I wrote it over the past 2 years. It's about going through hard times and not giving up. It's about losing people you love but finding strength anyway. It's about being poor and struggling but still having hope. It's my story. Your story is clearly powerful. What message do you want people to take from your music?" Marcus looked directly at the camera. "I want people to know that it's okay to struggle. It's okay to feel broken. But don't give up on the things that matter to you. For me, that was piano. Everyone said it was useless, that it wouldn't help me. But it saved me. It was the one thing that kept me going. So whatever your thing is, whatever makes you feel alive, hold on to it. Even when people laugh. Even when it seems pointless. Hold on." The reporter wiped her eyes. "Thank you, Marcus. That was beautiful." The interview aired that night on the local news. By morning, it had gone viral. Millions of views online. Comments from people all over the world. "This boy is incredible. I cried watching this. Music like this changes lives. Someone sign him to a record deal immediately." News outlets called. National morning shows wanted interviews. Music magazines wanted features. Social media exploded with posts about the piano boy who played away his debt. The story spread like wildfire. But the most important thing happened 3 days later. Marcus got a letter from a woman in Ohio. She wrote, "Dear Marcus, I watched your performance online. I am a single mother with 2 kids. I have been drowning in medical debt after my son's surgery. I was ready to give up. I thought about terrible things. Then I heard your music and read your story. If you could survive what you survived, I can survive this. Thank you for giving me hope." Thank you for reminding me that struggling is not the same as failing. You saved my life without even knowing it. Marcus read the letter to his mother. They both cried. This is why, his mother said. This is why you went through everything. So you could help others. Your pain has purpose now. More letters came, hundreds of them. People sharing their stories. People saying Marcus's music helped them, gave them strength, made them feel less alone. Each letter was a reminder that art matters. That music is not useless. That beauty can come from pain. The Harmony Gala raised over $3 million for medical debt relief that night. The foundation used the money to help 200 families facing the same situation Marcus's family had faced. 200 families got the same miracle, all because of one performance. All because of one boy who refused to give up on piano. Marcus's first semester at Eastman School of Music started that fall. He was the youngest student in most of his classes, but he was also one of the most dedicated. He practiced constantly. He studied hard. He soaked up everything his teachers taught him. During winter break, he came home to visit his mother. She was cancer-free now, completely healed. She had gained weight. Her hair had grown back. She looked like herself again. She had even gone back to work part-time, though she did not need to.